No, it's not a slogan. It's not even a warning. I'm letting people know what comes next. Respond to the demands of the people or prepare to be met with any means necessary in order for us to move forward.
The difference between All Lives Matter right now and Black Lives Matter is the fact that the black community is suffering. We need to take into consideration that the black community is suffering. It's not about all lives matter. I get it, I 100% get it. But when someone is calling for your help, you don't say but.
It's a wild world to live in. I just came here as a fact-finding mission.
You need to be amplifying black voices. I find it highly unacceptable that you're choosing to speak to white-bodied individuals when there are plenty of the black people here to be talking to. I'm simply saying he already stated that he doesn't understand the demands of the people that are here. So he's essentially conducting an interview for what purpose if you do not understand why you are here. We are here to have our demands met. It does not make a lot of sense for you to be conducting interviews with individuals that do not understand why they are here.
But most people I spoke to were black people.
Okay, that's not what I just saw. I'm simply letting you know.
You saw one interview?
Yes, I did. You're not going to discredit what I'm saying. What I'm saying is valid.
I'm not discrediting you in any way, shape, or form. Obviously, I was a white guy.
Yes.
But I'm just telling you that most people I interviewed were black people.
I understand that.
And also, the demographic here is mostly white.
Understood.
How do you feel about that?
I feel that that's absolutely necessary.
Yeah.
First of all, this is a white problem, not a black problem. White people exude violence. Black people do not. We've been inherently peaceful for a lot longer than we have been given credit for. A response to violence is not violence itself.
So a lot of an interesting split between people's viewpoints here is people who are enjoying this, enjoying the vibe.
I can tell you there's ignorance, and then there are organizers, and there's nothing between.
So if the organizers are the ones who have the knowledge.
And the organizers are the people who are black organizers who have been working for more than 20 years about all these demands.
So do you feel that...
Yes.
Sorry, buddy.
Yes.
I was one of the guys I was talking to. Do you feel that the party atmosphere, the vibe, is a problem and not, is we're maybe losing focus on how the fundamental problems that we're facing as a society?
There's not a party vibe living in the hearts of any person that understands why they are here. If you do not understand why you are here, then maybe you're considering this a block party, which is absolutely unacceptable.
So you do think there's an issue with the vibe?
I do not think that there's an issue for anyone that is aware of why they're here. I think that if you are unaware of what you are here for, then yes, you might be confused.
That's interesting. Okay. Do you think, I don't know, are you an optimist generally or a pessimist generally?
I wouldn't say either.
Do you feel that a year from now, we'll have lost focus and this will go back to business as usual?
The people who understand, the only people that are going to go back to business as usual is people who are already invalidating, discrediting, and not acknowledging what black people and brown people are living through in their life. So do I have any doubt that some white people are going to go back to being white people that do not understand what's going on? They're already here not understanding what's going on. I don't have much faith in their behavior. Do I think that this has ignited something in able-bodied individuals and understanding individuals and individuals who are willing to tap in black-bodied people? Absolutely. Do I think that this fight has ever stopped or started? No.
But do you think that we'll see meaningful change a year from now? Or do you think we'll lose its steam?
It depends on who you're asking. What's meaningful to who?
Ask you.
When the police state is abolished, when Jenny Durkin resigns, when Carmen Best resigns, and when the Seattle Police Department turns in their badges, we'll have made a move forward.
Do you In other words, not defund the police, abolish.
Abolish the police state.
Do you think this is representative, that if we abolish the police, that we'll have more of this as opposed to what people are saying will happen
No,
as violence?
I do not.
So what do you think would happen?
What do I think would happen?
Will happen once there's no police force? If you don't think it's going to be good,
I think that you're trying to make abolishment as if nothing happens after that. What abolishment means is that, well, honestly, I shouldn't even, as a reporter out here, I feel like that's something that you should have understanding of. But when you're unraveling something, it will become abolished in that, which is absolutely essential.
I understand.
You cannot rebuild until you break it all the way down. I'm not here to talk about what the building blocks of tomorrow will be like, because a lot of other factors are going to come into play during that time. You're also talking about the freedom of black people's minds. You're also talking about black people having actual time to heal and rehabilitate from what it is that they've been experiencing, that their ancestors have experienced. You don't know what the world could look like when black people actually realize their power. So how is it that I could envision a world? I haven't gotten through the fight yet. As you know, some people are going to forget about this. They're forgetting about it while they're here. So my job doesn't stop. My job doesn't stop because white people forget that black people are dying and they only remember until one of us dies again. This continues, no matter what, by any means necessary.
That's not just a slogan.
No.
You know, you put on a t-shirt, you walk around with it, it almost denudes the power of that statement.
No. No, it's not a slogan. It's not even a warning. I'm letting people know what comes next. Respond to the demands of the people, or prepare to be met with any means necessary in order for us to move forward.
For example.
You look at that
For
child's
example.
eyes right over there. You look at that child's eyes right there. That's what the means are.
For example, every single day, when we showed up here and this barricade was there, I removed it every day. Because we're moving forward. As an American citizen, if I was considered an American citizen as a black person, my rights are already developed and protected enough. We went through the civil rights movement. Things have developed. They've set the barrier in order for us to be here and exist freely and be okay, including protesting, including marching. You saw white people out in the streets marching just a few weeks ago for a pandemic to end, as if that's how that works.
You know marching ends?
There was no tear gas deployed. There was no flash grenades. There were no rubber bullets. And they were able to disrupt at point blank range with the Seattle Police Department and in other countries, or in other states.
Because they were white.
Because, absolutely because of their whiteness, because their privilege supersedes my entirety of my being and my life. So, every single day that I show up here, I'm not here to peacefully protest, I'm here to disrupt until my demands are met.
Do you think they'll be met?
That's something that Jenny Durkin, Carmen Bess, other governing bodies here in the Seattle Police Department have to make a decision around. We have said what we have to say. As black people say, I said what I said. So they have the opportunity to respond. So far they've responded with non-lethals in a very lethal way. And if they think
They kill people?
they have, we had a brother of a police officer unload on a black brother at this very protest after he ran his car through here, black Honda, shot him, got out and ran to the police. Yeah.
Thank God nobody was killed.
It's not thank God nobody was killed, because what it did was tell any white nationalist or anyone else with the idea to do something like that, not only can you get away with it, but you're offered police protection once it's done.
Ooh,
That's right.
Unacceptable behavior.
No protection.
What would you have rather the police turn them away?
I would have rather that my people mobilized in the way that they're showing up for. Not only remove that gun, but remove that individual.
You mentioned a number of demands. So one of them we talked about obviously is abolish the police. Not defund, but abolish. Two is
I just want to clarify that, that when you see defund, that is what they mean. They mean not defund 5%, 10%. They mean examine the way that we view criminality. Examine that the police department is ill-equipped to handle the way that people's needs are not being met. 90% of 911 phone calls, a cop with weapons on him is not equipped to handle.
So speaking of the criminal justice system, do you think that it's so inherently biased, so inherently racist, that the criminal justice system, the courts, all of that needs to be taken away?
Absolutely. Without question. Again, you're asking a question that cannot be answered. The unraveling that happens to that system is also exactly what will fuel the black minds and the black bodies that will recreate a new world. We cannot have one without the other.
Can I stop asking that? You're right. I see, I know where you're going. Same thing goes, again, this is another one of the controversial deal points, if you will. Let everyone in prison come out, let them come out so they can be retried. Because they're inherently, their system, when they were tried, was biased and therefore invalid. If I'm wrong, so let's correct me. But that everybody needs to have all felons need to be retried.
Are you talking about black people?
I thought I said all. I don't know. Maybe it's
that was free all protesters who have been prosecuted.
No. I don't think so.
That is the third demand.
Me if I'm wrong. I thought it said all people, either all people.
The third demand that's written on that board up there, if that's what you're referencing.
I don't know.
Okay.
But is one of the demands that all people of color who are committed felons should be retried?
I personally have not heard that demand, but I honestly don't see why I would be retrying something that we're also abolishing.
So let them go. Do you believe we should get rid of the entire...
I'm just saying that scenario doesn't make much sense. If I'm advocating for the police state to be abolished, for the systems that hold that in place to be abolished, why would I then say, before we do that, let's retry all these people to figure out if they should be in jail or not? That's...
it doesn't make any sense if you're going to...
Absolutely. If you make it, yeah.
So let me ask a different question. Should we abolish the prison system?
We should abolish it for profit. It shouldn't be for profit.
I understand. That's for sure. But I'm asking something a little more fundamental. Should we get rid of the prison system as we know it today?
Yes, we should get rid of it as we know it today.
Should we get rid of it in general? I'm not going to ask the question. I'm not going to ask it.
You mean reform?
No, not reform. Get rid of it.
Yes.
They shouldn't give sex offenders less time.
I'm playing a little bit of pop psychologist here, so I'm a little bit dangerous territory because I'm not a psychologist. But if you do that, there is going to be a level of anarchy that's coming from it. I think it's hard to argue against that, or you may argue not. Is a part of you saying, I want to see the anarchy because I want to see this whole thing fucking taken down so we can rebuild it from the beginning? Is that part of what you feel? And I don't want to put words in your mouth, so I'm just saying that.
No, it's not that black and white, sir. All we're saying is prison should not be something that's for profit. Cops should not be encouraged to be biased to feed. Sorry. Okay.
I can finish speaking. You can re-ask the question, and if you want to rephrase it, now would be a good time to do that.
Okay. Is there a part of you that wants the anarchy to happen, which I think would be the result of it? I could be wrong. You may think I'm wrong.
If I was being completely honest with you, I want for white people to stop murdering black people. That is all that is required. However, until that is understood and computed in a way in which white people stop killing black people, they should start preparing for us to respond, as I've said many times and will say again, by any means necessary. It's very simple. It's hard to grasp when you have violence living in your body. I've never understood that part. There's the part where we can philosophize and we can kind of wonder, what is it? Why is it that white people feel the need, this urgency to murder? I don't understand why more journalists are not asking those questions. We run to black people the minute that they're killed, and we have been seeing them be killed for so long that the PTSD from that is unbelievable. You have people still bitching about 9/11. Unbelievable. One act of terror. This is 462 years of terror. And yet you run to us and say, well, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? Hopefully, stop dying, step 1. Rehabilitate, step 2. Opportunity to reform within our own minds and change our own perceptions, step 3. Then conversations will naturally happen. These are naturally occurring things. You know that when you scream at a plant for a long time, it will wither and die. When you feed it, nourish it, and water it, it will grow. These concepts are only foreign because you're not considering me as a human. You're not considering me as an American citizen. You are still looking at me as an enslaved individual. Therefore, when I'm still making these statements, it goes, well, how much do you need to feel like a person? All of it. The same way that you need all of it. And I will get it by any means necessary.
Yes.
Do you feel like an American, or do you feel that you've been rejected right now?
I am an African brought to America.
So you don't feel like you're an American?
If I was an American, the laws and regulations that are already in place would protect my life, but they do not. So would you even call me an American based on the way that black lives have been treated? Would you?
Of course I would.
That's something to consider.
But because I consider you an American is why I say you have to be treated like every other American.
Something to consider. Because I'm not being treated like every other American, or else we wouldn't be here.
Yep. And that train of thought is the problem.
Okay, look. Thank you.
Think about it.
Good job.
Wow. Wow. Whoa. Respect. Oh my God.
Yeah. Look, I can't say I agree with everything. I agree some, but no, that was. It's hard to hear when you believe in something and somebody's looking at you and saying what you believe is bullshit. It's not the way it really is. Everybody says that's
right. What do you believe in?
Yeah, I was just about to ask you what your beliefs.
I don't take. What my opinion?
Yeah, I do want your opinion. Not to say like I'm going to come against your opinion at all.
I really think. I know you're gonna freak. Yeah. This is less of a race issue and more of a class issue.
Okay.
And I think that if you look and if you can, for example, I'll give you a perfect example. The statistic you always hear is look at the difference between the same black person who commits one crime and a white person. There's a 20% difference in the sentence.
Right. Sometimes more.
That's the average. So less than that. So I thought that was a horrible statistic, so I looked into it. And here's what I found. When you control for education, that number, first of all, take it back. When you control for the differences between the rap sheet of the person, so the more crime you commit, if you commit the same offense, you're going to get a longer sentence. Right. Control for that, now you're down to 10%, which is still a difference.
Right.
When you control for education, there's no difference.
Right.
If you're a college-educated black person, you will get a smaller sentence than a non-college educated white person. If you are a rich person, black or white, that is the most significant factor in your sentence because you can hire a better lawyer. Right. I think a lot of our issues are class-based, and not that they're not race-based, not that it isn't a race problem, they're more class-based than race-based. That's what I think.
But that's at the race and class
court level. Thank you very much.
That doesn't happen at an immediate response level. Like police don't come and go, oh, this black man might be rich. I'm not going to shoot him. Or this one, you know?
Correct. No, you're right.
You know,
they don't know what your education is. They don't know.
You know Jay Farrow, the comedian from SNL? He got thrown to the ground at gunpoint because he matched the description. This guy's a celebrity, he's rich, but the cops, all they saw was his black skin. You're talking about something that happens that if the black man is fortunate enough to get to the court. We're talking about, this whole thing started because we don't get to see the court. A lot of times we die right then and there. And why do we die right then and there? It's not because he knows we're broke. They didn't know what was in George Floyd's bank account. It's because all they know about him is that he's a black man. So what you're saying right now, it's almost overmining the issue or whatever, underlining the issue, whatever that word is, right? We're talking about the issue, the
I think what he's saying is true once you get to court.
Right.
coming out right now on Netflix. I don't know if you guys seen the one with the 16-year-old girl that shot her offender, her rapist. And the girl is serving a life sentence right now. She's literally serving a life sentence. Even if we get past even the justice system, we're talking about criminals, let's go to the freaking foster care system. Look how many black and people of color are being abused. They're being put into homes of crackheads. They're being put into homes of rapists, pedophiles, right? You know what story about Gabriel Fernandez? Murdered by his own family. Messed up. His own family killed him. The foster care system failed that kid. They've seen so many different situations. He came to school beaten. The cops even saw it. And they chose to ignore it. The difference between all lives matter right now and Black Lives Matter is the fact that the black community is suffering. We need to take into consideration that the black community is suffering. It's not about all lives matter. I get it. I 100% get it. But when someone is calling for your help, you don't say but. We don't say but. It's a problem everywhere. We say no. I'm coming to help you. Like Sister was saying earlier about 9/11. We never forget 9/11, 100%. But the moment that my voice gets heard, the moment that I have a racial issue is always, but it's never about race. Why is it never about race? Why is it never? It is always about race when I walk out of my damn household and I have to worry about when is the next person gonna come sideways at me. And I'm not even that dark. I'm an immigrant. I'm a DACA recipient, actually. I'm an immigrant. One of the biggest problems I have with the whole all lives movement is that no one's realizing that we're not saying that all lives don't matter. Far from it. We're saying, listen, we are hurting and our people are being attacked. So listen to us. We're tired of people saying this is what the situation is. This is what you did, like the whole crime thing against George Floyd. Yes, he was a criminal. That's not what we're saying.
Doesn't fucking matter.
It doesn't matter. Exactly. It doesn't matter. We're talking about the fact that I can't even like the looting shit. Right? Sorry if this is like going on the news or something. I'm sorry.
Yeah, does it look like I'm holding back?
But like with the looting and shit, how many black people have you known that can actually own an iPhone?
I think a lot.
I can't. I had to get a lease from Best Buy to get the latest iPhone. I've never.
They're expensive.
They're expensive. I've never had top-notch shit. I'm not condoning looting because that's not how I do it. I come from a country where I have never seen racism like this before. This country handles racism like the most nastiest way I've ever seen it. I come from an oppressed country, but we were never like this. We were never like this. We don't flat out look people in their face and tell them, but. Someone is telling you they're struggling and your answer is but?
They're telling them we just want to live. You guys are like, I get you want to live, but...
I'm not disagreeing with your point.
I disagree.
This is an important conversation to have.
It's such an important conversation.
100%.
Yeah.
This has nothing to do with what's in a black person's bank account. Why do you think it's about financial and not race? Is there something particular that happened that you witnessed?
It's based on data. Look, I go where the data takes me.
Okay, let me tell you something about data.
Your reasoning also supports abolishing the police because the amount of money put into the military and in the police, taken out of education, is taken out of foster care, it's taken out of services that could complement or like even close things. So if it is a race, a class issue, the money could be put
I will say a statistic that you won't, but you can look it up. Right. We spend a lot of money in the military, no question about it. Right. We spend more on education than the military. And our education is shit in this country.
It's such shit. I will agree with that.
Not, in my view, it's not. So it's not about money. It's about how we spend the money. Right.
True.
Where the resources are going to. We spend more money in this country per capita than almost any country on planet Earth per capita. And by the way, we spend more. If you look at the inner city school spending, it is not quite as high. It's not on the highest level, but it's right in the middle.
But that money goes to white Americans. Yep. Like the problem is not spending money. The problem is not sharing it equally. And let's talk about stats. Since you talked about stats, right? In Minneapolis, right? Black people are 10% of the state, but yet we get 60% of the police brutality, and we're only 10% of the state. So you think it's just a coincidence? Those cops always go to that 10%?
Okay, we're being real, right?
No, I'm asking you.
No, we're being real.
Yeah, I like it. I like the reels.
Yeah, let's stay real.
That's a shocking statistic. But you have to control for something.
You said the but again, but finish.
I know, but
He always hits us with the but.
60 because the 60% stat, assuming it's true, and I think it is, versus 10% is a stunning stat. Although
yes.
But you do have to look at the fact that 50% of major crimes are committed by black people.
Let's talk about the black on black crimes.
No, I'm not even talking about black on black. It's mostly
I
black
would need,
crime.
I would need a fact check on that.
But here's the thing.
That's not accurate information.
That's
not accurate information.
I'm not even saying. Look, I'm not arguing why. I'm not arguing.
Yeah, let's do this. We got enough people here.
It's an FBI. It's a major FBI stat. But you can look it up.
But here's the thing. I don't believe shit stats anybody putting out anymore.
That I can't argue. That I can't argue.
Is that though? We get pulled over more. Listen, if I followed
that's true. I'm not saying there's not a reason. I'm just saying.
But if you're gonna say something, let's also talk about the reason, because everyone's listening, right? If I followed you for a month, there's a lot higher chances of me finding you do something wrong than if I followed you for a day.
I don't want anybody following me for a month, believe me.
But I'm telling you, we get followed.
It's gonna be ugly.
We get followed for a month compared to how a white man driving get followed for a day. So chances are you're gonna catch us doing something wrong more.
If you're trying to get me to say that black people aren't put upon more than white people, you're not going to get me to say that.
No, I'm not
There's
trying
no
to get you to say
question
nothing.
that black people are more put upon than white people.
I just want you to understand one fact, right? The buts and the although and the however is why we're here.
I hear you.
Like, we don't need that, but this happens, but that happens. We just need, hey, I hear you, I'm gonna lend you a compassionate ear, and we're gonna see what we can do to make this great country actually great.
He's not a statistic, I'm not a statistic, she's not a statistic. None of us are statistics.
I sometimes want to say you can't look at anecdote, but I don't like using that word because it makes it, it devalues what happened to a person to say it's an anecdote or statistic.
Yeah, I totally agree.
Again,
I understand.
If we're being real, I think everybody has to look at themselves, take a look in the mirror also, and say, is the fact that I have a significant, look, it's not just a black issue, it's a white issue too, but you're kind of a big white issue, fatherless homes. And you can argue that it's because of the prison system, and there may be some truth to that.
They take away
There was because of slavery. If you remember what slavery did to black people, what it did to a black father, took them out the home, bring the baby, sold them to slavery. The same mindset applies today. The same thing applies today. And when you sit up here and try to go statistic on us, let me tell you about statistics. Have the FBI have found any of our community leaders, human rights leaders, have they found their real killer?
No.
Have they found real killer? They can give you statistics of black men commit more crime than white people that look like you.
What am I?
Are you for real?
By the way, I'm a person of color. Just so you know, I'm a person of color.
Oh, I mean, you could pass for white.
You're white.
You know what I'm saying?
That's a little
Let's talk about something here. If we're gonna talk about people of color and talk about our colors, we're gonna talk about the fact that he's also as well.
Pick when you want to be white and when you want to be black. You see what I'm saying? That's what the system allowed you to be privileged.
I can't choose to be white.
Maybe you're right. I don't know that to be true.
Oh, really? So you think if the cop came today, right now at this moment, is he going to harass him or is he going to harass you? Statistic. Statistic. Okay. That's all we're saying. That's your privilege. You're owning your privilege.
It's a little bit offensive to say to somebody, you're a person of color, but you know.
Listen. We're talking about people not dying. We don't care about hurting feelings. We just want to live. If a feeling's hurt and a man's life is saved, that's fine with me. That's a win on my part.
Agreed.
We're not here because George Floyd's feelings got hurt. We're here because the man got murdered. Knee on his neck for 8 minutes and 46 seconds.
For a fake $20 bill, my dear God.
And by the way,
and they found out it was real.
By the way,
sister, I'm a sister. You're right.
You know what? I don't even like when people cite that because it's almost like giving us. It doesn't fucking matter if it was or if it wasn't. It doesn't fucking matter.
But he was talking about the judge system, right? He was talking about the court system.
You have to, when you want to look at this, you have to go back and take into account the 400 years, the trauma, the history of it. All of that is ingrained in a person's being. Besides the fact of just in your own lifetime. I moved to the States in 2015. In the summer, I heard a lot about like terrorist, like anti-Islamic or Islamophobic attacks. And I was here for 3 months, and I was like, oh shit, I can't imagine growing up here my whole life and hearing like and being told like, oh, like being treated worse. In class, black students are seen as more rowdy, and they're more like from when they're in school. Like there's so much beyond just like, you can't just ask this question here and not look at 400 years of aggression of like dehumanizing a being and then being like, well, you know, we're the same. Like,
and you're not even kind of just the years, we're kind of the days, because this is a daily thing. I never even understood racism until the moment I moved to the United States, and the moment that I was the top athlete. I was 13 when I moved here, so I'm 28 now. I was in high school, I did grasp it, because it wasn't ingrained in my head, because I grew up in a country where this wasn't like this. And I remembered being an athlete and getting told I belonged on the JV squad, even though I was out jumping the varsity squad, to have white people stand in front of my place. I took my ass straight to state, still played a JV. But I'm saying though, no white person wanted to date me. I flat out had a cowboy look me in the face and told me, he said, I can't date an immigrant or a black person. My parents won't allow it. This is America.
I believe it.
This is freaking America 3 years ago. The fact that this is still prevalent in this country says that you guys had a statement the day that you brought us here. The moment you named us African Americans was the moment you was telling us to get the hell back to our country. The moment we built this nation was the moment you say, bye, see you later, we don't need you anymore. And it's evident in Seattle. I live in South Seattle because I can't dare afford to live in Capitol Hill. You know why that is? White corporations saying, get the fuck out. I don't get that opportunity. I don't get that opportunity to live in a luxury apartment and say, hey, I'm living. And I'm not against white, I don't say it's white people's fault. I'm not about that. I can't do that, because all the white people that are standing here, they're not racist. None of y'all are racist. I don't believe you're racist.
Racist white people's fault.
Racist white people's fault.
I think there's biases inside.
Keep alive, that keep racism alive. So you talked about black people commit more crimes, right?
The music got me, sorry.
But we're talking everything that we face and deal with is embedded in every institution that allow us to be low income, right? Less education.
That's true.
Health care. So forget the criminal justice system. Let's focus on all systems that apply to our livelihood on a daily basis. So when you talk about statistics, when you talk about oppression history that we never got healed from, but constantly being traumatized.
Damn straight.
While you and your ancestor, or whoever's ancestor, has been able to benefit, and today allowed to walk in
trust me,
in this privileged lifestyle.
Sir, what we're trying to say is, right, the reason why she was talking towards you like this, not only because we're in a conversation, but because you've hit us with a lot of buts. But it's that train of thought. Whether your ancestors were black or not, if you're thinking like, hey, we're saying stop killing black men, you're saying, but it's not about his black, it's about the fact that he's poor, even though they didn't know what was in his bank account. That's part of the problem. That's why she's speaking up.
I never said that. Not shooting them. I never said a person getting shot by the police is a class issue. I said the judicial system is a class issue. Not shooting.
At the end of the day, though, yes.
So not shooting. So you agree that what we're standing for is something that needs to be stand for with?
I never even began to argue. I'm in the middle of a conversation, so if you want to, when I'm ready to talk to you, I'll talk to you, my friend.
He's creating a good texture for the conversation to happen.
I'm not taking away
Dialogue is very important.
of why people are here and why people are upset. To say there isn't police brutality against black people. I'm not trying to take that away at all.
Do you understand it?
Of course I understand.
Do you support it?
Support what?
The movement.
Black Lives Matter.
Black Lives Matter.
I support the movement. I have a problem with the organization.
Why?
With the organization.
He supports the movement, but he has a problem with the organization.
I cannot say that I support Black Lives Matter movement.
Why?
A bunch of reasons. I'll tell you.
Give us one. Hey, Loki, there are a bunch of reasons. Everybody can have their reasons. That's okay.
No, I'm happy to get into it if you want to get into it. But one of the main issues is it bothers me that an issue that's an organization is supposed to be focused on black issues, which it absolutely should be focused on.
Which it is, but go ahead.
Well, then I have a problem with why they have to spend their time to say that Israel's committing genocide.
Pardon, what?
That Israel's committing genocide. Whether you're pro-Israel or hate Israel, it doesn't not the point. The point is it bothers me that they felt they needed to bring that issue up on a platform that has nothing to do with black people in America or in general.
Okay. Black people in America. Black people in the world.
Israel doesn't do that. Israel's taking black people into their country.
Down. It's the whole world.
No, I don't disagree. But they're not saying England is racist. They're not saying that France is racist. When one could argue that they are.
Let me ask you: do you know for a fact? And do you know for a fact they're not saying it, or are you assuming?
No, I know for a fact. I know for a fact because Israel is listed, but no other country is listed outside of America.
I think, but also you have to look at the state of Israel and the situation that it's in. Whether you agree or not, what's going on there isn't happening in the UK or France, or I don't even want to go to any of that.
And I don't want to debate Israel
because that's
the only thing I'm debating is
part of the reason because Israel trains the U.S. police force.
Thank you.
What'd you say? Sorry.
Thank you.
That are used.
Israel trains the U.S. police. They basically get them that aggressive for no reason at all.
Israeli military.
They know. Listen, whether or not I think that I'm not arguing that's true.
It is true.
Then why would they not say in the statement that we don't like Israel training the police? Why do they have to go and say Israel is committing genocide?
This is such a good conversation.
It's kind of the nitty-gritty
So
too. You're asking why are they saying genocide and not saying
No. I'm not even arguing. No. I'm not even saying, even if they just criticize Israel for anything, even if I think it's worthy criticism, and there is some criticism to be made of Israel, the fact that they felt they had to bring out, not that they're training them, but that they're committing genocide, it does not sit right with me. It does not sit right with me.
But let's put that all aside. When you step up and you look at the Black Lives Movement, all of it, and you see what they're trying to do for the good of the people in this country, that's one statement they've said. But they're doing a lot more here, right? That one statement bothered you enough to be like, I'm not going to support this.
To me, it says something about the movement.
Listen,
I know it's an issue. I know from the outside you may think I'm nitpicking. I get it. It's not, to me, it's not nitpicking. It said something that they're saying of all the issues they can talk about, and there's so many. There's so many.
Have you asked why they've? Have you?
I wish, you know what the truth is.
You should ask why.
What's her name? The one I talked to?
The girl that's.
The one I had that long conversation.
I think her name is Jaiden.
Yeah, I was wondering who that was too.
Jada. Okay. Yeah, I've got her Instagram.
Speaking up against injustice, and they believe that they speak up against injustice.
That doesn't ring true to me.
Whether it's in America,
there's injustice everywhere, man.
I know, but they
worse.
But they believe that injustice stepped out.
Actually,
you know what I mean? Like stood out.
That's the thing that sits with me. Why not North Korea? Why not Iran? Why not? But they specifically call that Israel.
To not get shot by like.
No, I'm not. That's why I specifically said there's a lot in the movement. There's a lot in the
movement you don't agree with.
Right. No. There's a lot that I do agree with.
I just feel like this needs to be a peaceful conversation. I feel like he's being attacked right now, so I don't want it to turn to attack.
Right. I think he's like actually creating the space for the conversation.
Yeah. There's a lot of at him, and I'm like, I don't want. It needs to be Gusraba.
Yeah, your voice needs to be all over the place.
And there are blacks who are anti-Semitic, and there are Irish people who hate
I have a question.
Paige.
I have a question.
Nice to meet you.
Paige, wow, okay.
Has anybody really analyzed the statistics of unarmed black guys versus white people being shot?
That's what I'm saying. I don't believe statistics anymore. Statistics are like, they say like 5.5. He's 5.5. He's 5.5.
But by doing this, we're taking up space from the conversation.
Paige, how can people find you if they want to follow more of your
my Instagram is at Paige Turner Music. It's PAYGE Turner Music.
Are you on like Facebook and other platforms?
I am on Facebook.
Paige Turner?
Paige Turner Music, yeah. Paige Turner Music.
All right.
I'm not on Instagram. I mean on Twitter, sorry. Not on Twitter.
Is it okay to tell you?
Yeah, sure.
Awesome.
The targeting of Israel when we're here to talk talk about black
Right, that's my entire point. We should not be distracted about that. I shouldn't be talking about it, but I am. Because
but you don't have to.
You don't, thank you.
Well, look, I don't have to. He asked me, one of them asked me a question, do I stand with the Black Lives Matter movement? I'm just telling you how I feel.
Are you talking about the organization?
Not being like, what are you down here for specifically? Like, what are you hearing everybody else for? Yeah. What's this conversation?
Just talking to people, asking questions.
Like I have no problem. Like I love talking about like any and everything. I just like